They're called the Greatest Generation, men and women from all walks of life who grew up in the Great Depression, led our nation to victory in World War II, and helped make America a beacon of freedom and democracy for all the world. And do they have some stories to tell? I'm pleased to be partnering with the New York State Military Museum and Veterans Research Center to preserve the words and memories of many of our World War II veterans. These stories will be entered into the state's archives, where they will be accessible to researchers, academics, and future generations. Our veterans have given so much to help build a brighter future for all Americans. This tribute is just one small way of saying thank you.
Well, I wanted to go in when I was 16 because I was working at Pine Camp. And, and my father wouldn't sign it. So
which
my brother,
Pine Camp today is now Fort Drum.
Yeah. And my brother was registered for the draft. He got his paper and to visit the wherever, Watertown somewhere. And I was 17. And I told my dad, I says, I want to go into service. So he signed the papers when I was 17. And I went.
So you went at 17. Now where did you go for your training?
Sampson. It was being built new at that time. Yeah. I forget, I see something in the paper where there was thousands and thousands were trained down there. Yeah.
So talk a little bit about your experience during your training. What sort of things did you do? Did you learn anything in particular?
Well, not really. More or less.
Just the basics?
Yeah, basics, yeah. Marching, this and that. Be standing guard on your barracks and so forth. That's about all. And training there. Yeah.
Now, how long did you spend there for?
I think it was about 12 weeks. Yeah. I was taken in Albany. And originally they didn't think they'd take me because I had flat feet. And well, same day they changed their mind and I got in.
So when you were all wrapped up with your training, where did you go after that? Were you able to go home first?
I did. No, I wasn't. I was sent to Portsmouth, Virginia. They were going to make a medic out of me. And I was there probably 2 months, and then they didn't want me, and I went into Amphibious Command.
And what do you do in the Amphibious Command? What are some of the duties?
Well, we learned rifles and pistols and that.
So a lot of target practice then you had to go through?
We had to do that, yeah, learn how to do it. And after that, and I went into a little base in Virginia, and it was there for just well, I don't know, a short while, doing quite a lot of rifling and that. And then I was sent to New York and went to on the Queen Mary, and it didn't land there in way up Scotland, out in the water, because the water wasn't heavy, or you know. So
now, what year was this?
1943. Yeah, I went over in November 1943, and stayed there about a month and till Christmas.
In Scotland, you stayed.
Yeah. Then there I went to Penarth, Wales, and we're going to work on LSTs and that. And that's what we did until, well, we went to London once, changing the guard and so forth. And
so you kind of got to do a little traveling and got to see some pretty nifty places, right?
Well, Cardiff, Wales. Well, this was in June when that was happening, because I and 2 or 3 others went up. We're going to get a photograph of us, were going up the street in Cardiff, Wales, and I got ahead of them, and they said, "Hey, Benware," said, "people are spitting on us." I said, "What?" I took my pink jacket off, and sure enough.
Why were they doing that?
Because they're mean.
That's a good answer, yeah.
I had them turn around and they was the same thing, spit on them. I could write a little bit of a book, but some things I don't want to say.
So during your time on the Queen Mary, when you were, traveling, what were some of your duties like when you were on there?
My duty was on a small boat.
Mm-hmm.
There was only a few sailors on there, I forget, a couple hundred, but there were thousands of people on that Queen Mary.
Mm-hmm.
And I was on a small boat, and the rest of them were, yeah. We knew where it was and where the food was in case we hit it. And Hitler would give $100,000 in silver if one of the submarines would knock her down. They never did, They were up and down the water like that. In fact, when we went out of New York Harbor, saw the big feller there. He says, "Okay, you Yanks, nobody falls off here because I stopped for nothing." All along. That's done that all. Queen Elizabeth did too, only she was on the other way,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So stayed there for right after they went into the France. My brother was on a ship before that with a fast gun deal. He'd run up there, knock the pillboxes down, and get out of there.
Mm-hmm.
That was his, yeah. And he was there on that day that they went on,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. I met him, by the way, and when I went up, I wanted to see them. Where the big shots were in England there, and I was in the rail station, and somebody come up and hit me in the back, and that was my brother that hit me.
And you had no idea that he was over there?
No, because the last time I knew, he was over in Australia.
So what was that meeting like?
Well, pretty good.
Yeah.
He told me he started writing a letter to a girl. Her husband was killed in Canada, and one of my uncles worked over there, and he got them to write back and forth. And when my brother came home, he went to Canada and he married her.
Oh wow.
Yeah, he's dead now. Smoke got him. Smoke got him. It did. He was 69. Now I'm 88. My brother, who was on Guam, he died 2 years ago. He was 85. And I got a sister that's over 80.
Oh, wow.
And here's my brother died 69. Now what happened?
Mm.
Cigarettes. Woo!
So you got a chance to meet your brother over there. So how long did you have to, was it just a very quick meeting, just to, hey, how are you?
Just a quick meeting, because he was just there, I don't know, for a meal or something, and then their job was going over to France all the time and knocking out these pillboxes.
Mm-hmm.
That was his job. He wasn't alone. They had other small boats,
Mm-hmm.
they were fast ones. And yes, he went over there, and 47 years, I think it was, before he died.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah. And we don't know what happened to another brother who worked right over here, barber shop, for 50 years at that hotel over here. He died 2 years ago, 85.
Mm-hmm.
And we don't know what happened to him. He never told my mother and father anything. He never told me. So all I know is he got money, I don't know, 10 or 20% or 30%, something like that. And never told us what happened to him. But he had to be with the Marines because he was Navy. I don't know if he was a medic or whatever. But anyway, that's the way it was. And his son was over in Hawaii. He died over there while he was in the hospital here. That's the way it is.
So you get the chance to meet your brother. You happy to see each other. You go separate ways.
In a way, before that, I was in Pennar. They had I can't tell you all the names of it, but the LSTs, some of them were coming from India, from the wars over there. Mm-hmm. We were putting railroad tracks and things like that in, because a lot of them made it so they had to get rid of them LSTs and right on the land, you know. First one was there was a fellow from my hometown. And his name was, well, I won't tell you his name. But anyway, he was home on leave right after he got in the Navy, and he killed a man in Carthage. The guy wanted to fight with him, and did, and he fell on concrete, and he didn't mean to do that, but the guy wanted to get after him and kill him. That was the guy I saw. Never came back here. He stayed out in the state of Washington, and his folks were going out there, and I bought their house when they went to Washington. They never come back either. So they stayed right there, which was a good idea. You know, it must have been hard on him and the family what happened. You know.
So during your whole time in World War II, did you stay just specifically on the Queen Mary?
Oh no, when after the D-Day, it was in July, after the 4th of July. I went to, what was the name of the town? It is over near London. I went over and got on an LST. Mm-hmm. That's when I got on 601. And there was a flotilla getting ready to go into southern France. And in daytime, went through the Gibraltar. I could see land both sides. And then it was dark and that. And during the night, it was a bang, and the captain said, there was a whistle blown. He said, be prepared to abandon ship.
Wow.
And I thought, what's going on? You know, I didn't think it was that bad. And then there was another one, and somebody said, this is it, you know. So that's when we got a really good one. One of our own ships hit it. And how I got down in Tunisia, I don't know. But that's where I ended up in. And I don't know what ship I was on or anything else. Well, anyway, make a long story short, the fellow called me. It was in the American Legion, I think. Does anybody know me? 601, it said on the, you know, I called him. And I told him my name and so forth. It was, I don't know, down south somewhere. I said, yeah, I was on the 601. I said, what happened to you? I says, I didn't get up there. Did the LSE got there? Oh, yes, yeah. He said, we got there. So I says, well, I went down to Tunisia and I helped load ships and so forth for the invasion up there. So, and so I stayed there most of the time on that way, loading ships and so forth that were going to southern France. And then when I come home and with, I don't know anything about anybody else, but I went to a bigger ship on a small one, and before we went, we got rid of our gas tank or gas thing. We all had gas masks over there, you know, all through England and down into Africa. So I give it all away, and then I got it in New York. Go home for a couple of weeks, 3 weeks, and then I got onto the ship there. It was in dry dock because it got hit by a kamikaze. like I say, 19 were killed on that. So.
And were you on that ship when that
No,
was?
I
No, you
wasn't.
weren't. Wow.
No, I wasn't on it. I waited till they got on, and it was right on, Treasure Island, I guess you'd call it. They call it somewhere else. And that's how that was. When it got repaired by then, we went to sea. And in fact, I got a general, the big shot, a picture of him, and I'll show it to you.
So now, when you got on that new ship once it got repaired, where did you go?
I don't know, a lot of places. I was down one time. It was in putting bullets were like this, and they go around. You put them there, and you put them here, and they go up to the guns. And I had fever for quite a while, and I don't know where we was sometimes. One time there, I was out of it, and I was burning up, and water was coming back down into the ship, and I was in the tail end, and I see the captain come in, and he's looking around. What are you doing over there? And I says, I'm burning up. I got malaria. And he went back up, put that thing down so the water wouldn't come in no more. Where we were, I don't know. You don't know where you go, I know we were up in Japan. I got ashore twice. I got a picture of a couple things there. And so that's about it. It was 15 months before they operated on me. And I got on, they was going to put me on the battleship Wisconsin. And before they'd get me over there, it had taken off for the United States. A lot of ships are going. And then that hospital ship, they put me on that. And when I got, I don't know how long I was in there, but I get looking in there. I don't know if it was before I got operated on or afterward, but I seen bodies going by in caskets with the flags over them, and guys were dying. I don't think they were in the water, though. They were out in the water. I don't think they put them in the water, because where they were anchored out, there was it was too shallow for bigger ships. Yeah. But I've seen a lot of guy jump off over the thing. He had one of these things on him.
Straight jacket?
Yeah. And
you said you saw a lot of that.
They got him out of that one. They got him out of there. And then
why do you think guys were jumping overboard?
Mine. A lot of these guys here, up Port Drummond, a lot of it too. These guys have been hit bad, a lot of them.
Just the experiences of combat or battle, you think,
well,
could play a role in it?
I think so. And
so when you were serving during World War II, did you ever have any close calls, or
the only thing I
tense
know
moments?
is over there when the bullets are going off. I didn't know nothing when I had the fever. They pulled in the Hawaii once. I was a fever, and just a guy had a small boat, took me into the Army, because Navy didn't have hospitals over there. They still don't, by the way, just the Army. And I went in there, and they'd done what they had to do, and they put me back out again. So I don't know what went on.
But never any close encounters?
Not personally, that I knew of. That's all I can tell you. That malaria, I don't know. It's tough.
I bet, yeah. Was there one event in particular that